a few topics today, and I think we have some demos. Great, actually. So this week there was a surprise module developed, which is a deployment module based on some of the work that was done in import-export. I haven't had the chance to try it yet. Have you, Sébastien? And do we have,
yeah,
more importantly, do we have the author here?
I think Damien is here. Damien, is that you who made it? If you hear us, make a sign.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself and talk on the chat. Maybe he's shy.
Okay.
He's not shy, he can speak.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for the contribution first. I haven't had the chance to try it. Are you going to make a demo today?
Yeah, I can run through.
Very cool. Okay, well, we could start with it if you're ready.
Yeah, sure. Let's keep this next sheet for the end.
Okay.
But I love you, Dick.
Okay. Do you know how to share your screen, Damien?
I'm just looking now.
So there is a button that looks like a screen on the bottom left, and if you hover over that, it allows you to. And one of the options is desktop. This is the
you
should be using.
So I've done that now. I think it's just trying to connect.
It sounds like you've got an English accent. What are you?
No, Australian.
Oh, Australian, mate. Not a Foster's.
So you're not so desperate as Nick.
Working? What have we got? Screen?
It's loading.
Oh, Australia. What time is it over there?
It's not too bad. 7 in the morning.
Yeah, that's early.
Criminy. The only person that would be up that time would be Alon. Only because he's on a 24-hour stint.
So we can see your screen. I can actually.
I've got black.
Can Benedict see the screen?
And can you close the porn you have open on your right?
I can see it. It's okay.
Okay, I can see it. Okay, everybody can see it. Great.
I can see it.
Nick, were you referring to me or the other Elon that comes on the call once in a while?
The other one, the one that's normally like looks like a zombie after a 48-hour stint.
He wants to show us something.
Okay, so basically we use we have a bunch of websites. And we share content between them, so we have a central publishing CMS that we can manage content and then feed out content out to different websites. And using the existing import-export, there was a couple of problems. The main one being that once you had a certain amount of content in a CMS, the import would slow down due to the way that identities would be loaded. It'd have to load all the identities from the system to try and check if a piece of content was already existing in the CMS. So to address that, I've created a interface so that each identity can be provided with a lookup that directly looks up the database for that identity. So, for example, an identifier. And if it doesn't find one of those identity lookup classes interfaces, then it'll fall back to the identity scan, which basically loads in blocks all the identities until it finds a match. The other thing I've
Yeah,
added,
just that
Yeah.
is a great contribution, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would be very happy with that.
Yeah. Clearly.
so it's quite simple. It's basically it just has a one method that says, is it a loader for this identity? And another method that does the actual loading for the identity. So, for example, is it loaded?
I was actually wondering if we need a new interface, so if we could plug into drivers or item metadata like it's done today to give the identity. I don't know. Well,
Yeah, I mean, all it really needs is just a method to say.
yes, but the question is, do we need a new class or do we need a method to an existing class or concept? I will check that, but maybe it can be a method in the handlers, so you can say resolve identity and any handler could participate into that, to be discussed, but I'm sure, but the solution is there. Question is where.
Sure. Yeah. The other thing that we have is batching. This is mainly because during import it runs one transaction. So if you have a longer import that takes a few minutes, it doesn't flush through until the end of that time. So there can be issues with locking the database and timeout of transactions for longer transactions. I'll just do a quick import. So I've created a recipe that has, in this case, just 50 items. And on the data element, you can add a batch size. So in this case, 10. And when we import that recipe, it basically splits that one large data task into, in this case, I think 5 different batches, and runs them each separately. In this case, we also have a bunch of related items. So I don't know if people can see it there. So it's basically runs 5 steps instead of 1, and it commits the transaction after each one.
That's pretty cool.
And then we can see here we've imported, so you can see, for example, item 48, and we've got a related item 22. So that was an item previously in a batch. And if we move down some of the early ones,
What's related item again?
so related item is just a content picker field.
Oh,
So
okay.
just to give an example of importing, so this is all new content. So the first batch of 10, so if we go down here, so for example, item number 0, here's the one. So item number 6, imported item 24,
Yeah.
so that wasn't later in the batch.
Relationship is a big matter because let's say you have the first tag as an entity and second and relating to a content item which is on the file at the end.
Yeah,
When
so
you
that's
import the first, you need also to import the last one.
That's
So-
correct, yeah. So basically, all it does is, for each step, it actually loads the full XML for the whole import, but then imports a range of those items. The reason being that the loading of the XML is a small, relatively small part of the import time, especially if it's a complex import. And then it can
Is
commit
it
the
really? Is it really? I mean, if you have an XML document that is, I don't know, 4 megabytes, for example, I would imagine that loading it in memory would actually be a
It's very
substantial
fast. It's very
impact.
fast.
It's not? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the main problem with my solution at the moment is actually disk space, because it saves the way it works is that each step gets the XML saved in a queue, so it's actually saved to disk. So actually, if you have a recipe that has 20 batches, it'll actually save to disk that recipe 20 times. So that's the one thing that I'd like to sort of try and improve on in that. That's why there's a bit of a limit to how many batches you can run in one session. Say if you had a 100 megabyte XML file, it would end up, if you did it in 10 batches, that would be, a gig of disk space. But because each step runs independently and basically looks up the XML for that step, using the existing step infrastructure. But it does seem to work quite well, so it can import, for example, so I've imported sort of 20, 30,000 at a time items, which, takes sort of 20 minutes or so and does them batches. If it fails halfway through, it tells you at what point it completed, so that you can, if you needed to, load, say half the recipe.
So is it still compatible with the current command we have?
Yes.
Console command?
Yes, yeah. So you can run through your command as well, which is what you need to run for I think I'm not sure how long the interface times out. After a few minutes, I think the request times out. But you can run through a command. You can run, I've sort of run it for 30 minutes or so, and it still completes successfully.
And then you made another module.
Yes. So so we've now created this import demo type in this CMS. And I'll show you, we can import, I'll go to another, so this is another Orchard instance. So basically in my module I've got two features. One is publisher, one is subscriber. Publisher basically just makes available some web API methods that can be called. And subscriber has all of the interface functionality where you can create a subscription to a publisher. And really, any CMS can be one or the other or both. So I'll just give a demo. So this is our subscriber. And first of all, we create a subscription source. So a subscription source is just the connection details to another CMS. Which has the URL and the name of a user in that CMS. So once we've set up the source, we can then create a new subscription.
So this is literally pushing content between two instances of Orchard.
Yeah, so what we're looking at now is that we've got a connection to the first CMS that we were just importing into. And it loads, first it loads queries. So you can have queries that's in that CMS. And these are all the content types. So so if we have a look down here, we should have import demo 1. So that's a content type that's only in the publishing CMS. It's not in this one yet. So it looks up and gets those content types, so we'll add that in. Then you can also import data metadata. It's very similar to the import-export module. You can import published versions or drafts. And importantly for subscriptions, we can choose only to import changes after a date. So I tried a few different ways to manage incremental updates, and it turned, in the end, the best way that I found was to just import changes after a date. So that basically, when it's exported from the publisher, we store the date that it started that export, and then next time it tries to get new content, it gets anything that was published or modified after that time. So it's always based off the date on the publisher export. Otherwise, you can override a certain date. So if you've already got them both in sync, you might just want to import changes from now, for example. And on the first run, it will automatically import all of them. You can also run on demand or create a schedule, which is basically just a repeating task that runs at a certain interval. So for now, we'll just run on demand. So we can queue to run our import now.
So this removes the dependency of having one database for a web farm. This means that you can have a different instance of Orchard on every single box, and the content just goes distributes itself.
You could even imagine having, like for your admin, one site with 10 tenants, each tenant representing a production website, but the production websites are in different locations. And from one location at your home, you can push on all those different production websites.
So which is essentially that could solve a lot of performance issues. That could solve a lot of performance issues.
And
it's interesting for federate organizations. It's interesting to publish from dev to prod.
Which will interest One Stop. You could have geolocated production websites and one central database that you push on those geolocated. Okay.
Okay, so
you can specify a projection query to determine what's getting hosted. That is great.
So I've just so this has just run the import from the other CMS. So we can see we've got import demo content type. One small problem I've got at the moment is that for some reason the shell update, when it's run as a maybe someone can help me with this, the shell update is a background task. It doesn't automatically update reload the content types.
Nick, don't say SignalR.
Right. So we can see we've now got the content type loaded from the other CMS in this one. And if we view content, we should have our 50 items with related items. We do. So import demo 1. We can also view history.
Your screen's a little bit slow at the moment.
Sorry. So
I'm sure it's all Photoshop. Nothing is moving.
A lot of JPEGs.
It's down under, isn't it, man?
While we are waiting for it to appear on our screens, I have a question. Is there any security feature in there? Let's imagine that I have a site that's subscribing to some other site's contents, and well, I do not trust them 100%, but I want their contents. Is there any filtering that's being done on the recipe so that, I don't know, it doesn't create content types or users or who knows what?
Not at the moment. It basically passes that recipe straight into the existing recipe module. So I guess on the events, if we could have something that can cancel a step, possibly, so that we could hook in as it runs steps that you could.
Could you hook into the workflow management?
Hold on just one sec.
It's not about security.
Yeah. One thing you could do is have the subscription that says, okay, this is the set of content types that are admissible to import.
Yeah, well, I guess what we could do,
use permissions for that.
Yeah, what we could do is that when we download, because the subscription says whether we want to include metadata, and then what content types. So yeah,
well,
we could.
It's not just about metadata. I mean, you don't.
Oh, it could be commands. You're right. Yeah. But we could filter that recipe by whatever was in the subscription.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and running the import under a different. To run the import under a different user specific role be another way to prevent it from doing crazy stuff, maybe. But first, I would allow the administrator to specify what can be imported, or like a whitelist, you know. And Ilan, you had another question about work.
Yeah, just wondering to know if we could hook into workflows with this. Therefore,
Exactly. Like you
Part
could
of the-
say there is a big workflow, and when you reach the end of the workflow, you say push to the production website.
yeah,
It's just another activity to create. That would be awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
definitely
that mode should definitely have some.
and same thing for scheduling.
activities.
You don't have to create the scheduling by yourself. You can use workflows to do the scheduling.
So at the moment, it uses pools.
Yeah,
So
there is a
like-
there is a scheduling activity. So maybe we were not there last meeting. Well, we are sure. So the new workflow module is replacing the rules module.
Right. Yeah. I think I saw.
So this will be the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
will have a schedule which will trigger workflows.
I think the only last thing is that it can import queries, but I don't think there's much. One small thing for the queries is that you can also, if I go back to a query, it's got tokens. It includes some tokens that are passed by the subscription module. So we can do things.
So where did you learn Orchard? Have you been to Hungary taking some courses at the university? I don't know.
I didn't make it to Hungary now. The company I'm at uses Orchard for all of their CMSs. So I've been on it for basically a year full time mainly on Orchard development. So we've got sort of half a dozen production sites and lots of stuff going on. So
how many people, if you don't mind asking, and you can tell me to buzz off, are working on Orchard with you?
there's 4 or 5 people in my team,
Great.
but they're primarily the Orchard guy.
And have you found other people in and around the land down under that are also buzzing around Orchard at all?
Not a great deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I haven't actively sought them out, but nothing. Doesn't seem to be
What-
any sort of. Yeah.
Name of your company?
Sorry, they dropped out there a bit.
What is the name of your company?
So.
He said, what is the name of your company?
Oh, World Nomads. It's, travel insurance and travel safety and.
I've used you guys.
Yeah. So we're basically, in the process of porting we've got lots of sites and lots of content and lots of users, and it's part of a program to sort of migrate.
Doesn't want to say lots of money.
Sébastien, we already had to edit last week's. Let's not have to edit this week's.
Seriously?
Seriously. We'll talk about that a little later. That's excellent, though. It's nice to
very nice.
to hear that you're doing all this
And
work.
you're using so much stuff that is not documented, and you had to dig through the code to understand.
Yeah, it was a.
Yeah,
It was
it's
fun
great
expedition.
work. Great, great.
Are you going to commit some of this, some of the fixes for import export back?
Yeah, we'll take
Yes.
the changes in for 1.7 because it will make it more deterministic when you import something. Like, okay, it will take 1 hour, but it will take 1 hour, it's okay. It won't take, we don't know because it's based on the memory it will take and the number of items you have. So whether you have 100 items or 100,000 items, it will take the same time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It will solve a lot
Yeah,
of issues
so-
for a lot of people. So, yeah, so definitely submit that patch back.
Today it's a logarithmic
A logarithmic nightmare.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's very consistent. So I think this one has about the one we were just testing on has about 40,000 items in it.
40,000?
35,000. So it's pretty much consistent whether there's and same if you import one item, it still takes
Yeah, it's okay.
a small amount of time.
If we know that 40,000 take 1 hour, it's okay. But before, like you import 10 items, it's 1 minute. You import 20, it's 10 minutes, and then you import 30, it's 1 hour. It wasn't. Now it will be a straight line. Okay, almost. Great.
And the very final thing it does, I just forgot, is unpublished items. So if you unpublish an item, it will also track
That's
with
cool.
Yeah, but it needs a bit more tracking on the. We don't track date times when things are unpublished or deleted. So there's an extra part that needs to be added, a subscribable part that tracks those extra times. But yeah.
So once the fixes in core to that you need, you're going to put that on the gallery, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
That's fantastic. It's going to be very useful to a lot of people.
excellent.
So thanks a lot.
No
That's
problem.
great. All right. So that was a good. That puts some pressure on the next demoers. Before we move to the next demo, I wanted to that we completely forgot about.
It was a great day. It was a great day.
So we said we would do a hack-a-thon on the 7th, so Thursday.
We didn't say which year.
Yeah, basically nothing happened. Everybody forgot except Jen. So I think we schedule that. I don't know when, but before 4.7 ships, so maybe sometime in March should be good. We need enough time to actually set this up. So I don't know, any preference in the date?
I give you the choice of the date.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. A joke that only you and me are going to understand.
And
Maybe
Antoine,
Ilan.
maybe Antoine. No, Ilan,
yeah, Antoine.
Ilan has left for Belgium a long time ago, so. Because no, just to tell, je te laisse le choix dans la date. Et en fait, it's if you switch syllables, you can, yeah.
Okay, he got it.
Contre-pétri.
Man.
You have to edit it too. Lot of edition. Editing.
Et c'est contre pétri, le tout de ton cru
It's recorded and it's in French.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, I didn't say anything that could be. So how about, I don't know, the 28th of March, for
That's a
example,
good date.
to pick an arbitrary date.
Yeah, because let's do that.
Thursday.
I don't know what it is, but it looks good.
Okay.
It's the Ides of March. The first, is it? You said the 1st of March or the 21st?
28th.
28.
Never mind. I'm still stuck on Sebastian's comment.
Okay. There was a question about from Piotr about event bus and token evaluation. Piotr, you found a bottleneck in there. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically I noticed that the tokens, the token providers are event handlers. So when the token is being evaluated, the whole event bus is employed, and it's when the chain of tokens become quite large, and it puts a lot of messages on an event bus. So, and using the event bus is it may be a performance bottleneck, maybe not a bottleneck, but a hit, because it uses a lot of reflection, and every provider needs to be called, and every provider processes the given token. So I think I know why we're using the event handler, so you don't have to have a strong reference on the orchard.tokens module whenever you need to write the token provider. But on the other hand, I think if you're writing tokens,
Open a bug.
Provider,
I think we can put this one in core.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I've opened one.
We make a strong
think,
interface and
yeah, I think you're about to
Yeah.
say that if you're going to provide tokens, you should take a dependency on tokens, and I would
Yeah,
agree
exactly.
with that.
Because
I
it,
would
se-
agree.
it seems reasonable. And not using the event handler. Not to mention that it's very hard to profile the event handlers with
Not
dynamic
just
proxies.
that. So if you want to become a token provider today, you don't have to take the dependency. But if you want to format using tokens, then you need to take the dependency. So it's.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So
it's
in most
consistent,
cases,
so-
you take the dependency on those
Yeah,
tokens.
actually,
For strong
this
typing.
morning I switched a module to take the dependency, which it wasn't taking before, and it just
but it-
simplifies things. You don't have to.
Yeah, but I
to
think it
define
will
the
be a
interface.
breaking change because I think there are modules in the wild that
Yes, it is a breaking change. Yes. So is there something we can do about the breaking change? We can discuss it. Let's open the bug and we can.
Okay, I've already done it.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, and by the way, speaking about tokens, I also thought that I'm profiling tokens right now, so maybe I'll come up with some real world data. But to make it more simplified, but it's so something similar to what we did with the client tokens at one stop. So because it seems overly complicated. There is a lot of recursive calls, so if you have a change token, it recursively calls the token manager to process it as it would be a second token chain and so on. So it's it should be evaluated, without recursion, and I think there is a field for improvement in the implementation of tokens.
Do you think it can be optimized without changing the feature set?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of objects involved in the whole evaluation process. I don't, I have a gut feeling that it's not necessary.
Okay, can you open a second bug for that?
Sure,
To
will do.
revise the implementation.
Sure, will do.
Okay, thanks. Okay, back to demos then. Who's next? Zoltan or Nick?
I'll let you go for that.
keep it short.
Yeah, we have some triage to do. We can't have fun all the time. Okay, Zoltan, are you ready?
I go on then. And I'm sharing my screen. My demo will be very short because I have a ridiculously simple module. And the reason
Those are the best.
Sorry? The reason I created this was that I couldn't sleep because Bertrand said that he doesn't like my module from last week. So I created a new module to satisfy Bertrand.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because usually I love your stuff. At least I'm sincere.
I suggested a new name for it if you'd like. I put it in the chat window.
Ridiculous then.
Contrib ridiculous.
I will totally create that. No, Bertrand, so really thank you for the suggestion. So I was joking, of course. And the module is the following. There's not much innovation. This link here is the module. So you have a create a copy link, and when you hit that, a copy is created. And when you hit it again, a new copy is created. So you can repeat this for infinite items. This is it. So a very simple content copy module. It uses the import-export API.
Beautiful.
That I like. That
It's
I
beautiful.
love.
That's
That is
awesome.
great.
Simple, works, done.
What do you
It's
do about the
perfectly
permalink?
simple.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry?
What do you do about the permalink? It automatically goes -2, 3, 4, etc.
Good question.
Yeah, the permalink is messed up. So the permalink is the same.
Contrib.ridiculous. It's awesome.
That's the feature. there's a separate feature for messing up the permalink. So yeah, that's the same. I haven't made anything with that. So the idea here is that if you copy an item, it's an exact copy. You have to deal with it. Because actually, if I would publish it, I think the authored parts would take care of this.
So once you import, you need to do a get draft new for a new draft and save it. So you still have a draft, but it gets a new permalink. Just after you import, required draft new, and it will work.
That could work. But as I've shown, if you publish the item, it will get a new permalink.
Yes, but do it even though do it. So before you publish, while you're in draft, you see the link. Just one more step, and okay, beautiful. And could it
So
clone?
I've got one suggestion on this page. So could we change the word create a copy to clone and put clone over on the right hand side between unpublished and
Like
edit?
other actions, yes.
Yeah.
Put it. Can we put it into core?
Why not?
Yeah, I think this is probably
Ridiculously core.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like to make it a feature though, but
Yeah, it should be a feature, but I would definitely put that in core. It's probably a fairly small module. It does have a dependency on import-export, however, so can it be in core?
Is import export not part of core?
No.
No.
Wait. There are two things. There are the handlers and there is the import-export. I'm not sure he's using the import-export module itself. He's using the import-export in the content handlers.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
So let's see the code and yeah, do it.
It's import content session, and where does it come from? Yeah, it's in the core.
Oh,
Good.
cool.
Good.
Easy.
So call this draft, put it on the actions on the right, and rename it.
And make a pull request.
Yeah, cool.
All right, sure. Actually, it would be much easier that way because I don't think this is here extensible. I mean, it's
It is. It's really extensible.
Yes, it is. Everything you see, actually, it's a shape with a location, actions, something.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
really easy.
all right. I missed that time. I missed that time. Okay, sure. I will do it.
Okay, thanks. This is great. I'm looking forward to having that in core. This is really helping. Okay, Nick?
Zoltan the Great.
Yeah.
Nick, I would actually just stop. I just wouldn't even try. Not after that.
All right. Well, I'll give it something a go, and if it doesn't work, then
It's a perfect example of how to try to rebuild the world as just fails and just doing little things. Just little things.
So tell me when you guys can see my screen. Still says connecting, so I'm going to stop my video maybe. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's loading.
Right. I hope lag doesn't make this a bad demo. Is it still loading, guys?
No, it's there. You can see it. I can.
Benedek, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I've done a little bit of work on SignalR and some stuff around operational transformation.
Yay!
So
SignalR!
I'll demo it. How about a demo? So let me refresh my 2 pages. So this is two users, a test user and an admin user, viewing the same content item. So first thing to notice is that I've kicked up a connection through SignalR. So if I flip to
Implementation detail. Show us the feature.
hold on. So I've initialized the connection here. So I've joined that content item. So the content item in SignalR is the group. if you think of it that way.
Implementation details. We don't care. Show us a feature.
All right. So, hi, Sébastien.
Wow, this I like. Close me those
No.
consoles.
No,
Yeah.
This is the point. So.
No, this is not the point.
It is
The point is the feature you provide.
Well, the feature I provide is, all right, I'll shut them down, but I want to explain this in a minute. So the feature I provide is I'm able to do differential comparisons between this user instance here and this user instance over here.
This is why you were looking for a diff library in JavaScript.
And does it work in body?
Pardon?
Does it work with the body
no,
too?
because this isn't a regular input. I haven't got that working yet.
Okay.
So one thing to note is that if I refresh the page, it should stay good. Yep, cool. So the implementation, I'll just explain the implementation very, very briefly. So what I used was Google diff patch merge. And what that does is, if I show you, it provides a patch. So it will provide a patch to the client. So you've got to make the client do most of the heavy lifting. That will push down using SignalR pipes under the hood. So I implemented my own SignalR module. It wasn't actually that much code, but I'm just going to explain it just very briefly. So when it comes in, it has to go through the OIN handlers. And one thing that hits is the async handler, which causes transaction issues. So this is why I was bugging you, Sébastien, but you didn't actually manage to solve it for me.
It will be resolved in a few days or weeks when we remove this implementation for iTransaction Manager.
Well, okay.
So yeah, on a side thread, I don't know if you were there with Sipke and others, we are looking at removing the transaction scope object, which breaks Web API and everything using async await.
So there will be no opening a transaction in the begin and
we will do it,
disposing at the end.
Yes, but using the NI transaction and not the transaction scope.
Okay. That's
well,
fine.
anyway, I got around it by doing this using middleware. That's what Lou suggested. Lou suggested to use middleware to create a work context, so I did. So that gets pushed down into my my hub, which is up here. So I'll just explain. When a user first views a piece of content, they hit the join method with the content item. That allows me to then say, right, I've got a content item, so I'm going to put that user into a group that's viewing that content item. And in this instance, you can see that that's right there. So the group was the content group name, so the content item. And then that allows me to add the connection ID of the user to that group. So then I fire a patch through, which you saw already. Go through and it hits this method here, send patches. So Google patch diff merge provides you a C# implementation, a Dart implementation, a Go implementation, a JavaScript implementation, so on and so forth. And the interface between the C# implementation and the JavaScript implementation, the contract object isn't the same. So that's why I sent you guys a message asking why about the patch thing. Bertrand, you may remember that, and Sipke and you guys. I just couldn't see it at the time, but I've had to create a mapper in order to get that to work. So what I then do is I create a draft content item, and I then create an iUpdate model, just a default hub I create my own update model, which is just a hub update model. I then issue the update editor with the update model and the draft content item. So if I go into
changes are actually being persisted as a draft as you type?
Yeah.
Oh. So even if you don't have two people editing the same document, you have autosave here.
Yes. I was gonna reveal that at the end. You ruined it.
I was actually going to suggest it. I was going to say, well, you know what would be cool is that you already have patching stuff, blah blah blah. Why don't you store that somewhere?
I've already got.
Actually, I was going to suggest actually storing the patches in local storage instead.
I am
but
going.
That works too.
No, I am. I need to make sure the patches are stored in local storage because I need to queue them up on the server. Because if you've got 100 clients hitting all at the same time, you don't want to try and apply the diffs all at the same time. It doesn't make sense. So
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You're not going to have 100 people.
You just have one editor on a website. So
2 is to be the exception, and 100 is just impossible.
At the same time, let me. Okay, 2 editor on a website. Okay, good. You have 2 people working on a website. That's great. And now on the same content item. Woo!
I know, but just let me finish. So I then use the diff patch merge, diff match patch, library, and then I apply the patch that gets sent over the wire. I then apply the. I've got the property of the object I'm applying it to, so I set that. I then acknowledge that change to the caller. That needs to then dequeue that change. And then I notify all the other clients. So this is async. And then I notify all the other users that are watching this content item to apply this patch, because the servers now process this patch. So apply this patch to the rest of the other clients' UIs. So as 2 clients are working away, they should be receiving the patches from each other and applying them, so on and so forth. The one thing I need to hook in properly is the content item versions. At the moment, the Orchard revision model doesn't really work the way I want it to. What happens is that this comes in with a revision number. I haven't managed to get this to work the way I want it to do, but this increments. So if it's a published item, it increments the revision number by 1. But because it then is a draft, it never increments the revision number again. So you lose the revision history of that particular instance. So even though you've got autosave, you've got no revision history of what's gone on. So I need to apply them. I need to put the patches into local storage to say what's gone on with this content item since revision X. So that's basically what I've been doing around the content pad stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure that's brilliant.
So I've got a talk next Tuesday on this. So I won't be here next Tuesday, but I'm demoing this somewhere else.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I'm demoing this to a bunch of guys I work with. One guy wrote his own language, PogoScript, and they're getting me in. They want me to demo to their local user group. So I'm going to be demoing operational transformation to them. So, but it's pretty cool, eh? I think it's pretty sweet.
It is. I'm actually, I mean, the general level of the demo this week is very high.
I've got some weird SignalR connection issues.
And we haven't even had a demo from Sébastien.
I won't show you any demo. I will just tell you what I did.
Okay.
Oh, I could also demo. I've got auto registrations working for AutoAuth, but does anyone care about that?
Hold on. I had one more question about what you did. It's more a suggestion than a question, actually. It would be interesting to see who is editing the document at the same time as you.
Yeah.
You know, like
when you're on the page,
you have this in Google Docs, you know.
So that is already implemented. I just haven't pushed it out onto the screen, so it's right there.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah, it just needs to call UI.add to the screen. I just have it. I didn't hook it up to this. I didn't have time.
With a gravatar and a chat, and you can. Oh, we are editing the same item.
In Google Groups, you actually do have a chat on the side. That this way, you can discuss what you're on.
Well, what I really want is this to feed into my forums module. So the idea is that as someone is original, okay.
So
So
this is why you may have 100 people on the same thing. So it's like a live wiki of sorts.
So exactly. So the idea is that as someone's typing something in a quick reply, every user can see that someone's typing. Maybe not the content of what they're typing, but that they're typing.
That's interesting.
Also, if someone goes and edits a post, then you can see that someone's editing a post or whatever, and also viewing. But then it goes a little bit further than that. I'd also like to have push this in for inline editing, potentially, but I'm not 100% sure on how that will work. But a live forum would be pretty cool. And you got a new competitor that's trying to try new things in the forum space. Yeah, exactly. So Sébastien, that's where this was actually looking at going. The fact that I did operational transformation was just my curiosity.
Yeah, I'm talking about discourse, and I think it's trying to try new things, but I don't think it's actually doing new things. That's just my opinion. I know that some people love it, but...
Yep.
So there you go, Sébastien, you can show that to David Fowler and say it's really cool. So SignalR works.
I think Fowler would love to see that. It's a great application.
Thanks, man. And it goes through the auto transaction model, which was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fantastic demos today. So the fun ends now. We need to do some triage.
No, yeah. So a few announcements of what I did. So first, amctheaters.com has a new design. You remember this website? It's fully in Orchard.
Share screen so that it's recorded.
I don't want to share screen.
Close your porn window.
That's my only window. If I close it, nothing more to show. Let me see. Okay. Close. Do you have to turn down the sound too? Desktop. You tell me.
So Brett, was that module what I promised?
Well done, yeah. That's excellent. That's the kind of stuff I'd love to see everybody use. I did, Piotr, it's funny you say that because I asked Nick why he didn't use your module.
So it's
answer.
My one's a little bit lighter weight than you've got a lot of code, and I didn't need hardly any of it, so I just and also I was interested in writing some SignalR code, so I just wrote my own. It didn't really take me very long, apart from the transaction stuff, which was a bit of a pain in the ass.
One less dependency.
Yeah, well, two less dependencies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the biggest part of the code that's already there are extensions to be able to, use the routes through the Orchard routes, create a SignalR connection route like every other route. So.
A very nice module theme.
Nice.
So this is just a new website. Then, so I played a little bit with Orchard last week, just to see what's this stuff, and I tried to make a theme, and I got some surprises. Kind of wondering how you guys are able to make websites.
Have you used Orchard before, Sébastien?
This was the first time actually. So
actually, the same experiment when we did Harvest, Sébastien found that it really wasn't that easy to build a front end site, was it?
So now it's easier. So I did a few things. Okay, let me enumerate them. And everything is pushed on the source code already. So first I worked with the clayless branch. It has been merged into the one.x, and I fixed all the bugs with the clayless branch. Now it's the part of the one.x, so it's no more using clay, and there is no more bugs. So actually I didn't find any. Workflow has been pushed too. Then I'm looking in all the changes. Let me see. Blah blah blah. Okay, I added a new overload for iChefFactory.create, which just takes a type, but that's related to the clayless. Then I did a lot of changes to the pager and the list shapes, non-breaking changes, but changes which lets you now theme the pager exactly as you could want to. And same thing for the lists. Now you can change all the tags on the list, define if there is a tag as a container or for each list item. You can even change the classes from a shape which is rendered by the list. So you can really now customize the list and really now customize the pager. So for instance, in the pager, you can write more than just a text for the next and the previous thing. You can have a full shape.
Just for those who haven't tried it, it was really hard to,
and sometimes impossible. Or well, no, you could always rewrite your pager shape.
Yeah.
With all the logic and everything.
Yeah,
But
you had to reproduce a lot of the logic that was in shape methods,
yeah.
And that was quite complex.
Yeah.
And, it was like the rabbit hole, you know. Once you had to go all the way down.
Yes, and I will also write about how you can template your pager and how you can template your lists now too. I added also, because I wanted to do a demo page on that, I added faceted search into the search module.
Ooh.
So it's implemented in the way there is a new, so on the search builder, you could do like with field, and you can say .list or .search or .count too. Now you can also do a .getBits. It returns you an abstracted bit array as an interface iSearchBits. So what is it is that it's let's say that an index is just a set of documents, and when you get a result, actually you get a bit array with all the documents, and each bit represents a document. But if it's 1, it means this document is a match. If it's 0, this document is not a match. So let's say you have 1,000 documents into your index. When you do get bits, you get 1,000 bits. And if index 1 is 1, then the document number 1 is a match. With that, you can do a search on different terms, like 2 categories and taxonomy, whatever you want, and you get a set of bit arrays. And if you do an AND mask, you will get the number of documents which match the 2 of the terms. If you do an OR, you will get the number of documents which matches either this one or the other one. So this way, you can create faceted search on your front end.
I think that deserves a demo when you're ready to do it.
Yes, I will show.
It's a little abstract.
Yes, I will show you the demonstration. So right now there is the API. So I have some demonstration which uses the API directly, and I want to go further and create a module so it's easier to do faceted search with taxonomy. So you could just enable a taxonomy to be faceted, and with some widgets or views to do that.
How does that play with full text search?
Same thing, because when you do a search, you do it on the full text instead of some field, and it will return a set of documents which matches the full text.
Okay.
But if you do faceted, usually it's not based on the full text. It's based on very specific items, dimensions. So
it is. It's quite common to have
both of them.
To have a full text search with
exactly.
some filtering.
Yeah. So, but the filtering is not. So you have a text box where you type the search, and then on the left you have the facets.
Yes.
So that's completely compatible. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I can show you for sure. Then, what is this? Oh yeah, I have added. What did I mean by that? What is this? Oh yeah, so I updated the content picker so that you can define in the settings of the content. So when you attach a content picker field now, you can say which tabs you want. So you could say for this picker, I just want the content tab, I don't want the search tab, or I want another tab. So you can select which of them you want based on each field. And also you can define the list of content types and content parts you want to be filtered in the content field picker. So when you say add on, let's say you have a slideshow and you want to add slides, which are content items, you say add and you will only see the slides and nothing else. Also, it's using parts. It can use parts. So if you have a content part, which is like, for instance, an event part or a calendar part, you will show everything which is a calendar part, and just that.
So is it just me, or does it feel like Christmas today?
It's not done.
It does feel like Christmas, yes.
Yeah, but it's just when you
That's
try
awesome.
to create websites that you understand. This is dog fooding, so and then you understand the pain and.
Yeah, that's what you do, dog food.
And I'm fixing this pain. Also, I'm working on some other modules, but related to this one. So I've created a shape menu item. A shape menu item is a new menu item on the navigation, but when you click on it, you type the name of a shape, and this shape will be rendered, which means you can have your own logic in the shape to render a menu item.
Exactly what I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, I created a content type rule for layers, so that a layer will be validated only if a specific content type is being displayed in detail mode. For instance, you want to display a specific widget only if my articles are displayed. What you want it, Sivka.
Well,
I'm sorry, I did not follow that last.
Yeah, I
feature.
didn't understand it.
So on the layer rules, when you create a layer, there is the home page, okay? So it's a layer for URL, but right now there is no way to provide a layer for a set of content items, for instance, when they have a specific content type.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
So now it's a rule which says content type, and you type the name of the content type. So the rule will be true if the current displayed item is of this content type.
Oh, the main displayed item.
Yes, yes.
It won't react to some
summaries.
Items that's
No.
on the sidebar or whatever.
No, but we could extend it for that. So you could say content type by default the type you pass, or otherwise you could say content type article with the list of display mode that you want, like summary, detail, and everything.
That will clean up a lot of my themes.
I think I will also create a
That's great.
new shape widget, so that when you create a widget, you see your blog post about last week, Bertrand, that will be another solution. Instead of creating a new widget, you create a shape widget, which you just say what shape type, and it will render this shape in the widget, and that's it. So you can have any other shape. Everything related to the shape types will make a nice usage of dynamic shapes. So but it's a later step.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow what you did about my blog post. I was writing down the previous step. You're going too fast. I don't have time to write them down.
So
explain in the next one.
No, in your blog post you were saying that you could always create a custom widget type, and then define the shape, override the shape for that, so you can customize it.
Yes.
Here it might be easier, which is there will be a shape widget type. When you when you add this widget, you don't have to create a new type. It's a generic one, and you just type the name of the shape you want to display. It's to be able to inject some custom HTML or not like logic.
So So you would do the same thing. You would create a template, but you wouldn't even have to create the content type. You would just use. Okay, same thing as the shape menu item.
Yes.
Okay.
To make things easier to just write stuff in your website and not try to hack or chant to display one piece of HTML or razor thing.
That's also that is really powerful. Same for contrib.projection layouts. It also has a layout with which renders.
Also, something I think is missing, and I will do it, is a generic rule where you can define a mapping between a URL, so an auto-route thing, which will map to a shape too. This way, when you want to create a page which renders a razor file, you create the razor file, you create your shape page, and you point to this razor file, and done. It's
okay. I see a pattern here. You should be able to narrow this down to just a single part, and you reuse that part in the menu item, the widget, and the page.
Maybe not. I will see. Okay, so yeah, just because. Yeah. So I will document everything. It needs some demos also too, because it will change how you create websites in Orchard.
Okay, well.
So I proposed in the chat that this long list of goodies that Sébastien ran through, next week we sort of do a rerun through with actual visual demos, because it's too many great tidbits here not to show.
I promise you, I will show it to you next week.
Awesome. Some great stuff in there.
We're already past the time. It's 1:10 here, which means that we don't have time to do triage.
But it was an awesome week.
Yes. So this is fun week apparently, and well, okay.
I think in English we can say I almost had a boner.
Whatever.
Again, that's a technical term for those. And it's a new programming language that Sébastien is writing.
Hopefully it wasn't my demo.
It's called nerdgasm.
Yeah.
Nerdgasm. Yes, and to be clear, Perrance one, bonheur is happiness in French.
Happiness, yes, in French.
That's right.
Oh,
Thank you.
I never thought about this one. That's awesome.
That was good.
That's a nice joke.
That's a great T-shirt, as a matter of fact. Okay. On that note, I'm out of here.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for the fantastic demos. This was a really great meeting, I think. And next week we'll have some more demos from Sébastien. We know that.
Yep.
And we will do triage next week. And maybe Sébastien and I will, I don't know, sometime do some
private stuff.
Yeah. Whatever.
Sébastien, just out of interest, who wanted to use my forum module?
I don't know if they want to use a forum module. A guy from Microsoft wanted to make a website with Orchard, asked if there was a forum module. I said yes, and I pointed to your module.
Okay.
Yeah. It goes further, right? I tell you.
You did say forget it, so I couldn't.
Yeah. So in the category of new sites, just one more.
Microsoft Just Blog.
Yeah, it's not a new site. It's a new theme like AMC, but yeah, this one has a new face.
Nice one too.
And it's a site, of course. All right. Thanks everyone, and we'll.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye guys.
Bye guys. See ya.
See you next week.